What's the stupidest reason you've ever been broken up with? She met someone that she immediately saw herself marrying. A month after we broke up, she moved across the country, got married, called me to tell me she made a mistake, got divorced, moved back home, got pregnant, and then got married again. Her current age, 22. Yeah, leave it to young people to think that they've got their whole life figured out. When I was a teen, my ex broke up with me because I didn't walk her home. I walked her home pretty much every day for like a year, and one day when we were next to my house with her next door neighbor, I decided I was gonna let them walk together, and I'll chill for a change. But apparently that made me a bad boyfriend, so I got dumped. Sorry for bad English. English is my first language, but I'm not very good at it. That's okay, your story was easier to read than a lot of the ones I come across. She was upset that I didn't hit her during an argument after she said something out of line. She thought that abusive relationships were sexy, and would show that I cared. Most bizarre thing I've ever heard, but probably best that relationship ended. Yeah, I guess that some people just are only meant to be with other people that are just as insane as they are. A guy broke up with me that I wasn't aware of dating. We had dinner once. We spoke a handful of times via text, but very short messages. Out of the blue, after a few months, I get a long message telling me that he has to break up with me. We were both in our late 30s. Well, it sounds like you didn't lose very much from that breakup if you didn't even know it was happening. I met on OkCupid. Chatted a bit. We seemed to have a bunch in common. We went on one dinner date that was okay, but kind of awkward. He said some stuff that could either be red flags or he's a bad sarcastic flirt. I was on the fence about another date, but when he pouted that I wouldn't kiss him in the parking lot, I decided more on the no side. We didn't talk after that. It happens. I forgot about it and went on with my single life. Then 10 months go by. I get a message on OkCupid from him saying, "I see you're no longer lying about your age. Anything else you want to come clean about?" What? Your profile says you're 30 now. Yeah, because time passed and now I'm 30. Before that it said 29. That's how ages work. Well, I can't entertain dating someone who would lie about something this basic. We're done. When did we even start? He blocked me. I'm sure he felt righteous. You know, I agree. I don't think I could ever date somebody who gets a year older every year. I like to be the big spoon, and he told me I was questioning his manhood. I mean, if that is such an issue for somebody, then he probably has no manhood to begin with. Middle school, 7th grade to be exact. I want dudes to be able to grab my butt, and I can't do that when I'm with you. I mean, yeah, it was the right thing to do, but come on. Hey, some people require more butt grabs than one person can provide. Mine seems pretty mundane after looking through these comments, but I had a girl break up with me for, "It's been 53 hours since you said I love you, so clearly you are trying to be distant, so I break with you first, so you win." I was relieved after the initial shock. She was apparently batty, and I never knew. You know, I've always thought it was a pretty weird ultimatum when it's just like, if you won't spend time with me, then I never want to spend time with you again. Not a breakup, but my ex-boyfriend threatened to because I got an offer from a better university than him. He insisted it wasn't fair to him, and he could have gone to the same one if he hadn't followed his passion for music. I don't think that a relationship is supposed to be a rivalry. Not everything is a competition. In high school, she broke up with me because she saw me kiss another girl on the cheek. It was my mom's cheek I kissed. What, you want to keep your parents? You should have thought of that before you started dating somebody. A girl once broke up with me because we were going to different schools next year, and in her words, we would never find the opportunity to see each other. We lived on the same street, like literally 30 seconds away from another. Yeah, well, long-distance relationships really just are so hard to maintain, so it's probably just best to move on. We had dated in high school, then 13 years go by and we reconnected, moved to a different state, had a dog, decided that we wanted to travel, so we purchased an RV. I got rid of all my stuff, bedroom furniture, washer and dryer, more furniture. About 4 months of living there and I have a seizure. I was told I couldn't drive for 3 months. I was told to work from home a couple days a week so he didn't have to drive so much, but that didn't help. About 2 weeks after my seizure, he told me that he didn't want to take care of or be responsible for anyone. This is why he didn't want to have kids. I was floored, and 17 hours from any type of family. Took me a little bit, but I got back on my feet. And everything I own will fit in my car, so traveling and moving is easier. Silver lining, I guess. I mean, I've often thought about doing some sort of RV life of just traveling around the country. But yeah, finding something to do with all of the stuff that you own sounds like just such a monumental task that it just seems impossible to me. My first girlfriend, who I was with for 2 years, broke up with me because I went to see a movie with a group of people and never told her about it. I saw the movie in our first month together. Well, either that girlfriend is unbelievably possessive, or she was just looking for an excuse to break it off when she just had other motives. I don't ever want to change who you are, and I need you to change for me. in a constant cycle. I feel like the whole conversation of just changing yourself to be with a person gets a little bit muddied. Because a lot of people like to say like, oh, you should never change anything about yourself for anybody. But it's like, yeah, you might want to start, showering more or being a little bit more responsible. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that kind of thing when you are wanting to be with somebody. I broke up with my high school girlfriend because she kept using, well, then maybe we should just break up, every time we argued. Finally, she did it when I said I didn't like Panic at the Disco, so I just said, okay, and hung up the phone. Now, I'm probably not the #1 best person to give relationship advice, but if you are constantly fighting with your partner, then it's probably not gonna go very far. She broke up with me for something that I did in her dream. Hey, I don't mean to say that women are irrational, but sometimes women can be irrational. I had someone break up with me because I showed her too many memes. Is this a problem? I think it's a problem. Yeah, as much as I like looking at memes, if somebody's just bombarding you with memes constantly, it does get a bit annoying. I dated a girl for one day. She broke up with me because in her words, I was immortal. I'm pretty certain she was going for immoral, but hey, take what you can get. Yeah, I guess that dating someone that's immortal would get kind of annoying too, though, because you just keep getting older and they don't. My high school girlfriend broke up with me because I made an ah sound after taking a sip of drink. I didn't do it on purpose, and I guess it was just a sound I made subconsciously, because the sip made me so refreshed. One day I took a sip and and she just snapped and said she couldn't handle it anymore. I asked her why, and she didn't tell me. She just didn't like it when I did that. And she said she would shrug or give me a dirty look when I did it, and I should have just picked up on her dissatisfaction. Look, lady, I'm enjoying my sip of cola here. I'm not looking around during it. A bit tardy to the party, but here goes. I used to buy my underwear wholesale, like a dozen of the same size and color for a discount. I met this girl and we would get frisky quite regularly. However, after a week or two, she started to notice something, and she assumed I was wearing the same pair of underpants for weeks on end, which she found rather off-putting. Fortunately for me, she accidentally looked in my hamper one day. Later, she confessed that she was about to break up with me with some lame excuse or other. I'm happy she didn't, because we've been together for almost 12 years now, and we have a beautiful daughter, and I've added some variety to my underwear. See, I would say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with wearing the same clothes over and over again, as long as they don't smell. I'm just waiting to get called out in one of these videos for only changing my shirt every other day. This never would have come up back when I only uploaded 3 times a week, but with me doing it 5 times now, it's a little more obvious. Not quite a breakup, but a girl I was pursuing romantically in high school was rather short. Like, she was maybe 4'10" short. I asked her to the homecoming dance thinking, hey, she's cool, it doesn't matter that she's so much shorter than me. After a couple of days of discussing plans and figuring out logistics, she tossed a note at me that said that I was a jerk, and we would not be going to the dance. I was dumbfounded, but she refused to answer any questions or explain why. I later learned that she thought that I was making fun of her. Apparently, it would be rather hilarious for me to spend what little money I had on the dance so that a 6'1" guy and a 4'10" girl could awkwardly attempt to dance, and everyone can point and laugh. No, Carly, I just liked you. I mean, is it that unusual for a guy to be taller than a girl? I'm pretty sure like 95% of relationships are like that. He became intimidated because I got better at League than he was. Well, maybe that was a sign that he was spending too much time with girls and he needed to go back and practice. 21 years of age, been together 3 months, and breaks up with me because I'm not tall enough. I'm 5'3" and he was 6'9". Was he expecting a growth spurt anytime soon? Man, what is up with everyone being so hung up over people's height? She wanted to be single for her first heroin experience. Never took her back. I don't mess with heroin. It scares the absolute crap out of me. You know, it's kind of funny that people's whole state of mind is different when they're in a relationship or when they're single. And I guess some people really just need to flip that switch to be able to do certain things. Because he loved me too much and knew I would be leaving the area in 5 months, he wanted to break it off right then so he wouldn't get hurt later. I was so pissed, I showed up at his apartment and made him take me back. That was 21 years ago. We're still together. Yeah, that's a bit melodramatic. We can't be together because I like you too much. I changed my picture on a dating site before we started dating. We met on an online dating site, started talking casually, and ended up exchanging phone numbers. At some point during this first week of communicating, I uploaded a picture to the site that a friend had taken of me. About a week or so later, we started dating. I never logged into the site again, which you can see as the last online times are displayed on profiles. We dated for about 3 months. Then one day she started texting me and becomes accusatory because I had changed my picture and not deleted my account. When I pointed out the last login thing, and that the picture was from before we started dating, it seemed to go in one ear and out the other. She was uncomfortable with my responses, and decided we should stop seeing each other. Didn't really argue with that. You know, a lot of these stories just make me think, like, if somebody breaks up with you for the most bizarre reasons like this, you kind of just have to take it like, okay, I can tell that you're clearly crazy, so maybe I'm better off without you anyway. My ex was allergic to cats. My roommate had cats. She dealt with it for a while until one day she blew up about them and gave me an ultimatum. I get rid of my roommate's cats or she walks. We now have another cat. I don't know, maybe you could have just moved into her place then? Well, that's all for the weird and random and crazy and ridiculous stories of this week. Now my question to you guys is, have any of you guys gotten just bombarded by snow lately? We had a storm yesterday. It got like 10 inches of snow outside. And yeah, my car is still buried, so I'm probably not going anywhere for at least a couple days. Anyways, have a good weekend.